Hey, good morning. This is Zach Polk from Prospect Studios. Escaping the Despondent Sea video edition. Fire. I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to go backstory now. Stuff it's supposed to be patching it up at the moment. And I got to be on a job. You guys can pay me $20 an hour to start. I get $25 an hour back in Grand Rapids from people without even asking them. That's just what they automatically pay me, and that's using their tools. Roof's blowing off the barn. But I went to work for a lot of people in the past. 4 years ago I broke up with a girl, Jenny, and I was taking care of her daughter, Sienna, and stay-at-home father, and I had an office, the Office of Horrors, and I was producing and attending to Prospect Studios there, in between doing laundry and caring for the house and the animals and feeding the wood burner out in the yard, the wood boiler. But Jenny and I got into a big fight over money because I pushed the issue, and I demanded, I'd been begging her about budgeting. We were making $72,000 between us. She's $60,000 a year as a surgical tech, and I was making, another $12,000 on Social Security. And every winter I was blowing my back out in an emergency room because nobody'd help get the firewood, and I'm fool enough to do it anyway, because it's got to be done. But we got into an argument, and her daughter had pulled a knife on her over cleaning her room, and the kid was grounded from the internet for 1 day. And between the absurdity of that and all the other things, I lost it, and told her there's hell or high water, and she called the police. Well, I sat around and waited. Police came. We had a nice little chat with the friendly Charlevoix County Sheriff, and they shook my hand and they left the house. A few minutes later, we went back at it. Jenny called the police again. Well, this time I decided I wasn't going to wait, so I grabbed a little pinch of grass and grabbed a bottle of wine, and I went out into the woods and sat in a turkey blind, waited for the heat to cool down. Well, they couldn't find me in the house, so they wandered around the yard, and they found 5 marijuana plants, about 5 foot tall, had them in buckets so I could move them around chasing the sunlight. They were ready for picking, but I wanted the trichromes to mature a little bit more, just to the edge of milk, just to the edge of golden brown. I don't want them golden brown, I want them milky. Anyway, they found my weed, they took it. It was the best weed I'd ever grown, too. Boy, I was upset about that. But I'm happy to share. So police had a good time with my weed. They arrested me, gave me a marijuana charge, creating a disturbance, because that's what I do, I disturb things. I've been wrapped up in the court system for 4 years. It's cost me about $15,000 out of my pocket, not to mention many losses. So I moved into a homeless shelter. I was there about 3 days, the Nehemiah House in Petoskey. I sensed a lot of animosity in the energy there, and I decided to yank myself up before I got attacked by these other idiots. Or let's not call them idiots, let's call them less fortunate. I'm sorry. But anyway, I called my caseworkers at the Community Mental Health, and I said, you need to come and get me, I'm not safe here. So they loaded me up in the car. I said, take me to the bank, I need to find out how much money I got. So they took me to the bank. I found out I had a few dollars. I said, you need to take me to a hotel. I need to get a room. So I walked in. I talked to the guy at the counter with the caseworker there with me. I asked him for a room, and then I asked him if he was looking for any help. And he says, well, matter of fact, we're looking for a painter. So I tackled this ABVI solo. I painted the whole entire hotel up in Petoskey by myself, and I took over the laundry room, a 4-man job, 5-man job. I did it by myself, proved it could be done. I didn't make any friends doing all that. People were driving around the corner screaming out their windows, telling me I was working too hard, and it was all for $10 an hour. Well, old Mr. I'm not going to give his name right now, but I think I'm going to pay $300 to get on the Chamber of Commerce up there so I can sit at the table and have the ability to speak. And I'm going to reprimand this son of a gun for taxing my bank account 5 times in a week for room rent that he should have never took. He's on my list. And if you're on my list, I'm coming for you. So after that, I pulled myself out. My buddy talked me into coming to Grand Rapids and working for him. So I went down to Grand Rapids, and he shuffled me into a trailer that I didn't want to own, that I couldn't live in because they wouldn't let me in the park. I wasn't good enough to smoke the crack pipe because I'm a felon. Whatever. Drunk driving charge. Part of my accident. I had a breakdown. Anyway, so nightmare come to a head there. I yanked myself out. I took myself to a friend of mine, Julie's house, and I stayed with her and her son. She adopted a son because she couldn't find a man good enough to breed with. Take notes, men. And so I went up to Ludington. I stayed with a friend up there who's got a marijuana farm. I got a pretty serious interest in this marijuana farm. I did a lot of work up there on this old farmhouse. I found where they used to make moonshine at. Did a bunch of video stuff on that. Got pictures of it on YouTube, on Twitter and all that. All this is documented. So I helped him out. Things came to a head there. The guy was drugging me. I went to the community mental health up there after having a breakdown. They said I was bipolar, put me on some meds. I've been off my meds for a while, especially the last year. I'm in a lot of pain, but being fueled with a spirit that's helped me overcome that currently. So anyway, things came to a head there. I went to Beaverton. I stayed with a friend there. Well, I found out he had dementia after I moved all my stuff there. So my stuff's been there for 48 weeks, and it's probably been vandalized and given away. 2 vintage motorcycles and all my belongings and contents of Prospect Studio, my sentimentals, all the pictures and things I'm going to, give to my children. Mostly junk to anybody else. But, so I yanked myself out of there, and I went to work for the girl I broke up with's cousin, Dennis. I moved in with Dennis. I went to work for Dynamic Hardscape. Well, after working there for 46 weeks, $100 a day and getting raped routinely, I finally said enough's enough, and I pulled out of there. And the next night, after getting a room in a hotel, the woman that I became acquainted with opened up to me and told me about these serious electrical issues at her home. And when she told me there was switches melting and circuits popping all over the place, and there's an 8-year-old child in the home, and they had a number of animals, and she needed help with the fence and all that, the electrical alone, and the kid in the house, I told her, I said, you need to take me there immediately. We're packing up first thing in the morning, and we're going to pull out. You're taking me to your house so I can address the problem. And so here I am. And I can't go away until everything's secured and everybody's safe from harm, whether it's the property or by way of anybody filing complaints against these people. So I'm here on a mission, and her dad brought me here, Dick. Her dad and all the other spirits that are with me, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my grandmother, my bandmate Danny, and of course Jesus. So I hope somebody out there appreciates that. This is Zachary Polk, Prospect Studios, the Bandana Brothers, Someone Unlimited, the New Blue Society for people who know on Facebook, Mad Pachyderm, Sea Captain on Facebook. Peace, love, care. Come see me. I'll find something special.